Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to jump right into the heart of the Ruby programming language, its basic data types. Now, I know what you might be thinking, just a boring list of terms, right? Nope. We're going to uncover one single, super powerful idea that's going to totally change how you see Ruby code. So let's get right into it. All right, I want to kick things off with a little puzzle for you. Take a look at these three things. On the surface, they look like they have absolutely nothing in common. But in Ruby's world, they're all connected by a pretty big secret. So you've got a number, a bit of text, and, well, nothingness. A whole number, a word, and just zilch. What could possibly tie these together? And here it is, the big reveal. In Ruby, every single one of those things, they're all objects. Seriously, that's the one idea that underpins everything, and that's what we're going to dig into. It sounds simple, but trust me, it's a total game changer for how you'll write code. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Everything is an object. Well, it means we get to talk to our data in a really consistent, really powerful way. But before we go further, we need to get two key definitions straight. First up, the object. The easiest way to think about it is like a little box or a container sitting somewhere in your computer's memory. That box holds some kind of data, a value, right? Could be a number, some text, whatever. The important thing is it has its own unique address, its own little spot where it lives. So if objects are these containers, how do we do anything with them? Well, we send them messages. A message is just a command. It's you telling the object, hey, do this. That's the fundamental rhythm of Ruby. You've got objects and you send them messages. That's it. All right, with that in mind, let's meet the main cast of characters. These are the basic kinds of objects you're going to be sending messages to all the time. First up, we've got numbers. You basically got two flavors. Integers, which are your whole numbers, and floats, for numbers with a decimal point. But listen up, because here's a classic rookie mistake you have to know about. If you divide an integer by an integer, Ruby will just chop off the decimal part and give you an integer back. So 17 divided by 5, you get 3, not 3.4. If you want the real answer, one of those numbers has to be a float. So 17 divided by 5.0, that gets you the 3.4 you're looking for. Seriously, remember that one. And of course, we've got a few other key players. Strings are just text. Easy enough. Booleans are your logic. They're either true or false. That's it. And then there's this weird one, nil. Nil is a special object that literally just means nothing. It's the official Ruby way of saying there's no value here. You'll see it pop up when a command has nothing else to give you back. Okay, so we've met the objects. Now for the really cool part, making them do stuff. This is where Ruby starts to feel like magic. So how do we send these messages? With this guy, the dot, the period. This little dot is basically the most powerful tool you have. You just stick it on the end of any object and then you write the command you want to send. It's that simple. Let's actually see this work. We've got our string object, hello. Now we tack on a dot and we send it the message, uppercase. And boom, what do we get back? A totally new string object, hello, all capitalized. See? Simple, clean, and super powerful. And we can keep going. Take that same hello object, but this time send it the reverse message. Bam, you get ole back. Or let's try something a little more complex. We take the string hello world and send it the split message. Look at what it gives back. It's a whole different kind of object, an array, that holds two separate strings. So you see, sending messages to objects can even create brand new objects. And this is just scratching the surface. Every single string in Ruby comes with a whole toolbox of built-in abilities. You can ask for its length, check if it includes a certain word, clean up white space. It's all just sitting there, waiting for you to send the right message. All right, now let's dive into a really fascinating comparison that hammers this whole object thing home. It's the tale of two lookalikes, strings versus symbols. They seem almost identical, but how they work under the hood is completely different. Okay, here's the absolute key difference you need to get. Strings are mutable. That's a fancy word for changeable. And every single time you type out a string, even if it's the exact same letters, Ruby makes a brand new object in its memory. Symbols, though, they're immutable. They can never change. And because of that, no matter how many times you use the same symbol, Ruby is smart enough to just reuse the one original object it made.
Don't just take my word for it, let's prove it with code. See, every object has a unique object ID. It's like its social security number or its memory address. So we're going to ask Ruby a simple question. If I make one string and then I make another identical string, do they have the same object ID? I mean, they look exactly the same to us, so they should, right? Nope, the answer is false. Even though the letters are identical, Ruby went ahead and created two totally separate objects in memory. Each one has its own unique address. That's what we mean when we say a new object is created each time.
Okay, now let's run that exact same experiment, but with symbols. Remember, symbols just have that colon in front. We're asking the exact same question. Are these two identical-looking symbols actually the same single object?
And this time, the answer is true. Because symbols can't be changed, Ruby is super efficient. It says, hey, I've already got one of these. I'll just point you back to the original. It reuses the same object over and over. And that's exactly why you'll see symbols used all the time for things like keys in a hash. They're just way faster and more memory-friendly.
Okay, let's zoom out and bring this all home. Why have we been obsessing over this everything is an object idea? Why does it matter so much? Because when you're learning Ruby, you're not just memorizing syntax. You're learning a new way to think. You're learning to see your code not as a static script, but as a living world, full of these little objects. Each one has its own built-in powers, and your job is to be the conductor. Your job is to send the right messages to make them all work together.
So now you've got the key. You know the language. You know that everything, from a simple number to a chunk of text, is an object you can communicate with. The only question left is, what messages are you going to send?